What it do, y'all? It's your boy Durag Dave. We back with another Clouded in video. My boy Joe and he can't make it. He told me to go ahead and do the video album, but we got you on the next one. Today we gonna be talking about that Def Jam, a classic. Bro, one of my favorite video games, bro. It was this 50 Cent Blood and Sand, 50 Cent Bulletproof, and this game I played with my cousin. I was playing this bitch to the disc was scratching. PS2, bro. I'm telling y'all wouldn't see me if I got Ti. You really wouldn't see me if I got Fat Joe. Hey, without further ado, we finna hop right into it. Remember, like, share, subscribe. It's your boy Dave. Shout out to Thuggin. And we finna get right into this video. Just go here to see what the time out.
Bangarang gang, yeah, gang beat, yeah. What's You should know me, C-E-O-M-P. Plain and simple, bitch, get your brain and temple hit, yeah. You and who you came with.
They need to bring this back, bro.
Where my dogs at? Where my dogs at? Where my dogs at? The history of the Def Jam fighting game series begins with Def Jam Vendetta in 2003, marking EA's return to wrestling games after the highly criticized WCW Backstage Assault in 2000. Developer Aki had originally been working with EA on WCW Mayhem 2 for the PlayStation 2, but when WCW went out of business and was bought by the WWF in 2001, this project was canceled, leaving EA searching for a new direction. Around that time, Kevin Liles, former president of Def Jam Records and an avid gamer, noticed that Def Jam's music was appearing more and more in video games. He questioned why Def Jam wasn't creating its own games instead of just licensing music. That idea led to a meeting with EA, and soon the concept of a hip-hop based wrestling fighting game was born. The developers had just 8 months to put the game together. Through numerous brainstorming sessions, the mission became clear. Build a gritty underground wrestling game starring real rappers. The roster included the likes of Method Man, Redman, Ludacris, Ghostface Killer, DMX, and many more. Each rapper added their creative input down from the clothing to their signature moves. Josh Holmes, the co-creator of Vendetta and Fight for New York, once told a story of Ghostface Killer's over-the-top request for his character. Ghostface requested that his iconic Gold Eagle bracelet needed to come alive during matches and attack opponents. The game engine that supported Vendetta could not handle this idea, but developers told him yes anyway, leading to disappointment later on when Ghostface found out that this feature was not included. In an interview, Josh also expressed the initial desire for the game to have a mature rating, but when it came out, it was rated T for teen. In story mode, players choose between 4 characters and fight through the underground scene with the goal of taking down D-Mob, the man in control of the circuit. Def Jam Vendetta released in April of 2002 for the PlayStation 2 and GameCube, quickly becoming a hit. Critics praised it. IGN gave it an 8.9, GameSpot an 8.4, and fans loved its feel, often comparing it to WWF No Mercy.
Bro, playing No Mercy and then hopping on Def Jam, bro, that shit was insane, bro. Cause it was straight violence.
Which is widely considered to be one of the greatest wrestling games ever made.
Yeah.
New millennium bound. Yeah, 2001 hatch.
The soundtrack is amazing.
Thanks to the success of Def Jam Vendetta, a sequel was quickly developed. Def Jam Fight for New York,
New York. Yep.
released in September of
Yep.
2004, just 17 months after Vendetta. It launched on the OG Xbox,
Ooh, I remember this
PS2,
shit.
GameCube, and later the PSP as The Takeover. This is the game many fans, including myself, refer
Play
to as the peak of the series.
peak.
Fight for New York outperformed Vendetta critically, scoring 8.7 on both IGN
That shit should
and
have been a
GameSpot.
9 or a
This
10, bro.
game is beloved by fans, and you'd be lucky to find a copy for under $100 nowadays. Hell, the manual alone goes for
The
around
manual.
$40 on eBay. You can't make this stuff up. For the sequel, the developers wanted a combat system that was easy to pick up but deep enough for competitive play. They mixed fighting games,
Hey,
wrestling mechanics, and beat 'em
hey.
ups while also proving that a fighting game could have a strong single player story. Unlike Vendetta's wrestling focus, Fight for New York featured 5 fighting styles: street
I
fighting,
remember that shit.
martial
Martial
arts,
arts.
kickboxing, wrestling, and submissions. The sequel added interactive crowds, environmental damage, KO moves, and the return of the over the top blazing attacks. The roster exploded with nearly 70 playable characters, while Vendetta had nearly 50. This time around, the roster included the likes of Busta Rhymes, Snoop Dogg, Ice T, Exhibit, Fat Joe, Slick Rick, Flavor Flav, and many others. The story picks up after Vendetta, with D Mob's empire being challenged by Crow, aka Snoop Dogg, sparking a turf war across New York's underground fight scene. Instead of choosing between 4 selected characters, you now have the ability to create a character. Creating and customizing your
That
character
shit
is
hard.
one of my favorite
That shit so
aspects
hard.
of the game,
Those the
whether
GTA
I'm
clothes.
getting iced out.
This is like equivalent going to the GTA store, getting everything you need. Go get your ice. Go get your chain. Go get you some. Get you a hat, nigga. Get you a t-shirt. All that shit.
By Jacob the Jeweler, popping tags at Syndicate Urban Streetwear, visiting Stingray for that fresh haircut, getting tatted up by
Get
Manny,
tatted.
or
Yeah.
visiting Henry Rollins at the gym to upgrade my fighting skills and stats. Something I find really intriguing about the game is how much content was cut.
Yeah.
Corrupt's name is found in the text in the alpha build of the game when selecting Slick Rick. This could possibly mean that Corrupt was originally considered for the game, but Slick Rick replaced him. It's also possible that Corrupt would have been a representative for D Mob and would have defended the Chop Shop venue during the story mode. The Japanese rapper S Word was slated to make his return for Def Jam Fight for New York. Images of him were found
Don't
in
know
the alpha
why.
build of the game. It's unknown if he was intended to be exclusively released on the Japanese version of the game, just like he was on Vendetta. LL Cool J was planned to make an appearance in the game as well. His character select placeholder image was found in the alpha build of the game. Many fans believe that the character Dan G
It's supposed
resembles
to
him.
be. Yeah.
It should be noted that his song Mama Said Knock You Out is featured on the game's soundtrack. Why LL Cool J was cut is believed to be due to Flavor Flav switching over to D Mob's crew. It's very possible that LL was originally planned to be a representative for D Mob at the Terror Dome, but instead Flavor Flav was chosen and LL was removed. DMX was planned to make a return in Def Jam Fight for New York after being featured prominently in Vendetta. After
Kristen
appearing
Milian
in
was in that hoe
Vendetta,
too.
DMX did not like that he was paid 2 cents per one game sold. Upon its release, the game was $50. Concept art was made for him, but since he did not return to the series, the character Tech filled his roster spot and has a resemblance to DMX.
Mix, yeah.
Tech also allegedly has DMX's stats and moveset. Also, his songs Where the Hood At and Who We Be were cut from the game as well. Last but not least, we have Khalees. She was planned to make an appearance in Def Jam Fight for New York. She was most likely going to be an option as a girlfriend during the story mode. Fight for New York has to be one of my favorite
That shit
games of
hard.
all time.
That shit
I'd be
hard.
lying if I say that I didn't still have nightmares of facing Crack, Crow, Magic, and Sean Paul during the story mode. Best
Blade.
believe I used to be raging like crazy.
Hey.
But I've considered going back and getting 100% of the achievements for the game with retro achievements, but we'll see about that. But sadly, this game turned out to be the height of the franchise
Yep.
because after its release,
Bitch.
everything went downhill. After Fight for New York, fans had to wait 2 years for the Takeover, which is the PSP port of the game. What many fans don't know is that 2006 also saw a mobile version of Fight for New York released only on Java phones. Reviews weren't great due to
That shit was
heavy
terrible.
mobile limitations.
Shit
In
was terrible.
October of 2006, EA announced Def Jam Icon for PS3 and the Xbox 360 with the release planned for March of 2007. Unlike the first two games, which were developed by EA Canada and Aki, Icon was made by EA Chicago with no involvement from Aki. Executive producer Kudo Sonoda pushed for a new direction aiming to reinvent fighting games through music-driven environmental interactions, now known as the DJ controls. It's reported that Kudo also felt the earlier games were quote-unquote just wrestling games with rappers, and he wanted Icon to feel more hip-hop. Some people enjoy Icon, but personally, I'm not a really big fan of it. I
I
understand that
fuck
some
with it
people
though.
actually like the game, but I'm just not one of them. I hated it when it first dropped, and I
Hell nah, I fuck with that. This was like one of my Dead Jam Fight was my favorite, but this one was a close second because you could throw niggas out into an elevator and shit. It had my favorite rap. It had T.I. on there, hoe. It had a lot of the recent rappers that I knew at the time. And I used to always fight with T.I. and shit.
still do not like it now. Vendetta was great, Fight for New York was perfection,
Yeah, you
and
could do that little
Icon
shit.
was just
Jeezy was
a
on that hoe.
major downgrade. Removed blazing moves, changed the combat system, slowed the gameplay, and featured a smaller roster.
It
Ghostface
was.
Killer, Sticky Fingers, and Sean Paul returned to the series as playable characters. This means that Ghostface
Big
Killer,
boy.
Redman, Ludacris, and Method Man are the only four to appear in all three fighting games in the trilogy. Kevin Liles, who came up with the idea for the series, finally appears as he plays the character of Curtis Carver, while Russell Simmons, the co-founder of Def Jam Records, portrays the character Rush. There are some unlockables in the game, with Fat Joe being one via a cheat code.
What
Unfortunately,
boy, Fat Joe, you couldn't beat that nigga. Fat Joe was the hardest nigga in the game, bro. You could not beat that man, bro. You get him on this much health, he'll come around, block out, boom, slam on your
Fat
head,
Joe cannot be saved in the game data, and you need to input his cheat code each time the game resets in order to play as him.
literally.
The story mode focused on building and managing a record label, signing artists, and fighting rivals. You climb the ranks of the music industry, managing your own record label, signing artists, and fighting rivals who send their artists to intimidate you. When Def Jam Icon was released in March of 2007, reviews
That
were
shit was
far
good.
lower than the first two entries. While the game has a small fan base, most players consider it the moment the franchise declined. What many don't know is that a follow-up to Icon was actually in development. It reportedly kept the Icon style gameplay but added a new combo system and improved song switching. Three modes, Throwdown, Obey, and
Now,
UCM,
see, I was
were
off this shit
planned,
by then. I wasn't
though
playing that
their
shit back then.
purposes remain unknown. A beta build exists featuring two characters, including T.I., three stages, and two songs, and gameplay can still be found online. The reason the sequel never released likely comes down to EA Chicago
That's a damn
closing its
shame.
doors in November of 2007, only 8 months after Icon launched.
Damn shame.
Turn me up some.
After Def Jam Icon, the fighting series came to an end, but Def Jam did not stop releasing games immediately. In 2010, they tried something new with Def Jam Rap Star, a rap themed karaoke game that received mixed reviews. After that, Def Jam never released another video game. Over the years, the label has teased the comeback, but as of 2025, no official announcement has ever been made. Fans would love to see the series return, but there are genuine concerns, starting with today's Def Jam roster. With all due respect, Def Jam just isn't the powerhouse it
It ain't
once
what it
was
was
in
once.
the
Yeah.
80s, 90s, and early 2000s, but they still have legends. 2 Chainz, Big Sean, Public Enemy, Jadakiss, Jeezy, LL Cool J, Rihanna, Wale, Tiana Taylor, and others, but just not on the same level as the roster that powered the original games. However, what a
Right.
lot of people fail to point out is that past Def Jam games did not only use Def Jam artists. The parent company of Def Jam is UMG. For those who don't know, the music industry is dominated by the big three, which is Sony, UMG, and Warner Music Group. They each have their own subsidiary labels. For instance, Snoop Dogg was never a Def Jam artist. During the time of Fight for New York, he was signed to Geffen Records, which is under UMG. Busta Rhymes, Fat Joe, and Mobb Deep were other artists that appeared in the series that also were not signed to Def Jam. Some of these particular artists were actually signed to other labels under
Hmm.
Warner and Sony at the time. If we look at a label such as Republic Records, which is under UMG, you'll see they have artists such as Drake, Lil Wayne, Kid Cudi, The
Ja
Weeknd,
Herbert,
Metro Boomin, and Nicki Minaj.
Nicki
Then you also
Minaj.
have IGA, comprised of Interscope Records, Geffen, and A&M Records. They have Eminem, DaBaby, Glorilla, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, and Playboy Cardi. Issue number 2 is that the rappers who appeared on the video game were not paid well. Earlier, I mentioned how DMX was paid 2 cents for every copy of Def
Two
Jam
cent,
Vendetta,
2 cents is insane. Like what the fuck? How the fuck you even supposed to feed your family off 2 cents, nigga?
but he's not the only rapper who has spoken out. Joe Budden, who appears in Def Jam Vendetta and Fight for New York, claims that he was paid a one time talent fee of $3,500 to appear in the game. Ice T, who appeared in Fight for New York, has expressed his interest in having the game remastered for newer consoles. However, in 2024, he tweeted out about why the game has not been remastered, citing that they did not want to pay for his voice or the rights to his music again. This brings up another issue, which is licensing. During an interview for Fight for New York, Josh Holmes was questioned about the licensing process for the game. It differs a little because of the label ties, but in general, music licensing for hip hop is a totally different beast. You have all of the different writers, featured artists, sample clearances, etc. Honestly, it's a complete nightmare clearing a hip hop song as
That was what I was hearing a lot when I was a kid. They was all like, "Where the third one at?" They was like, "They can't clear it," because I didn't realize it was this many labels and subsidiary labels they had to go through to clear all this damn shit. So no wonder why this shit never came out. Because then I also got to pay all the artists to pay this shit unless the niggas just not gonna don't want to get paid. So I don't know. I would love to see another Def Jam fighting game, but all that red tape they gotta do, it ain't worth it.
compared to other genres, especially if you want classics or contemporary hits. But the result of all that effort is worth the pain. If a game like Fight for New York was to be remastered, the licensing would be a huge issue. Licensed music, celebrity likenesses, and real world brands are things that would need to be dealt with. Lauren Wartzer Seawood, the former VP of marketing for Def Jam, who played a pivotal role in the first two games, is quoted as saying, I'm sure a lot of rappers would rightly want much more money if the game was re released today. A sequel might be one of the most expensive games of all time.
Literally.
A number of different parties would have to come to the table and agree. Def Jam is now owned by a number of corporate entities. A lot of the game's characters have also left the label too, so negotiating for a new game or even a remaster would be tricky and complex. Another reason that I've heard about why the series died is because it did not sell well. As I mentioned, EA Chicago, the developer of Def Jam Icon, closed its doors
Close
months
this shit.
after the release of the game. This is because the studio was not meeting the company's profitability targets, which killed the possibility of a follow up. According to VG Charts, the PS2 version of Vendetta has sold 1.94 million
So it's
copies
good.
total. The PS2 version of Fight for New York has sold
Point seven
1.76
six.
million copies total on its own. Def Jam Icon sold 780,000 copies total when
My
you
cousin had
combine
it.
the Xbox and PS3
PS3
sales.
chain.
As you can see, the series was on a sales decline. In an interview, Lauren Seawood said that Fight for New York cost around $15 million to
At the
make.
time.
Adjusted with inflation, this is around $26 million today.
Literally.
I tried to find the production cost for fighting games like Tekken 5, Mortal Kombat Deception, Here
It's
Comes
nothing
the
like it.
Pain, and Dragon Ball Z, Budokai 2, which were other fighting games that were out during the
Nothing like it.
prime of the Def Jam series. From what I've seen, it's safe to say that the budget for these games were not nearly as much as Vendetta or Fight for New York. They also sold more and were more profitable.
Right?
Let me know down in the comments whether you'd like to see the Def Jam fighting series return. I think despite everything set up to this point, I do think the game can come back and be a success. But that's going to be about it for the video. I love you guys with all my heart.
Look,
Peace.
Imagine being able
look, I would love to see the series again, bro. That series was like my childhood. I played Fight for New York first because I was on PS2. My cousin, he would let me play the game. Then I remember when Def Jam Fight for New York. No. Def Jam Icon came out. I was like, what is this? And you could throw a nigga in the elevator and all that shit. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? And I fuck with it. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know, like, I feel like it could happen, but it's gonna take like 30 million to make it. Somebody have to like just bite the bullet and get paid on the back end of the game because it's gonna be so much licensing. I didn't know that many labels was involved in that. That's gonna take a lot of money. We probably ain't never getting that game. It's okay though. Some games don't gotta get remade. Just if I would take a remaster. I would take a remaster though. I ain't gonna lie. Take a remaster of it and just have and add online. I'm cool. I'm cool with that. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm cool with a remaster and adding online. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. If y'all want this game back, I wouldn't mind it back. You know what I'm saying? Let your boy know. It's your boy Dave. Duggan. Shout out Joe. We out in the comments. Boy Clouted. We out this motherfucker. We gone.